By winter, the Mont Resort plays host to snow-loving Bowfest folks. By summer, these slopes transform into Bowfest, a music and archery festival made for fun and competition. Some of the best archers in the world are here to compete for a hefty booty and the title of 2019 Bowfest champion. And it all goes off right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superior, Wisconsin for Bowfest 2019 and a look at the field that was shot here today for what we call the money classes, the money shoot. There's two of them, and there's some competitors on camera. A spectacular ski mountain turned into a beautiful archery facility. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg White, and joining me is Joel Maxfield. Joel, good to see you. Shooter for Matthews. Beautiful day, beautiful weekend so far here.
Oh yeah, the facility is amazing, and some of the shooting that's been done on the money course has been incredible.
On the money course, we have two classes. We have the Hunter class and we have the Open class. And of course, in the Hunter class, we'll explain all the rules to you. But we have had tons of shooters shoot, and now we're at kind of the top five. We actually, in the Open class, have a tie for fourth that 3 archers have tied, so we're going to have a shoot-off for that a little bit later on in the broadcast. But let's take a look at the field of play in terms of the shoot-off for this one. As we look at target number 1 on this one, it's a caribou, and that one is 100 yards away, and maybe even a little bit more. And you can see we're shooting in the middle. That dot, orange dot, is worth 12 points. And Joel, on the caribou, that dot is just under 3 inches. You got to hit that. There's also a 10 in play, an 8, and of course, if you get outside the 8 ring, it's going to be 5 or a miss. On target number 2 is going to be our standing elk. Now that is about 90 to 91 yards away from the standing area where the archers are going to shoot. That dot, 3 inches wide. Our target number 3 is going to be the Hogzilla. That's about 50 yards down range. And you can see that the dot on that one, 2 1/4 inches at 50 yards. Then we back them up again on target number 4, and it's the Velociraptor. The Velociraptor stands 79 yards away, but the 12 on that one, only 2 inches, Joel. Yeah, I went out and actually measured all of these. And then our 5th target is going to be the Gazelle. And the Gazelle stands only 39.5 yards away, but that 12, 1 1/4 inches to hit that one. The 10 ring, just 4 1/4 inches. But that's not all. We have a 6th target that's in play. Now, this is the lynx grabbing at a duck. Now, this is going to be used for 2 things. Number 1, in the normal 5 targets we're going to shoot, when the archer gets to the 5th position, they're going to have the option to shoot the duck. And in the middle of the back of the duck, that ring, that tiny little ring, is going to be worth 14 points. So there's your risk reward. Do you shoot the gazelle or do you shoot the duck and go for it? Well, if there is a shoot off for the positions in terms of, let's say there's a tie for 4th or 5th, we're going to go on number of 12 shots. If there's a tie for 1st and 2nd, it's going to be closest to the center of the body on the lynx. And of course, if you're thinking that this is uphill, it is uphill, isn't it, Joel?
It's very technical. You got a side hill actually, so you're uphill, side hill. You got wind. There's a lot of factors to factor in there.
This is a ski slope, and it's absolutely spectacular. There's your course overview. Now let's take a look at shooter standings. We told you there's 2 classes currently. Now up top here, it's Michael Kimmerling and Dane Bennis, 210. They shot each in the Bowhunter class, and then Kurt Henderson at a 205. And yep, familiar face, Lexi Keller at a 199 in this shoot-off, and then Steven Schlender at a 198. So that is the Bowhunter class. In the Open Pro class, these are very familiar names, familiar faces. They got to shoot twice, Joel, as you shot this as well. So Dan McCarthy, 226 and a 224 for a total of 450. Chance Bobeff in second, 222, 224 at 46. Levi Morgan in 3rd spot at the moment. David Hauser, Caleb Sorrells, and Jake Gleitz all tied, and they are going to have to determine who's going to be 4th and 5th. We'll see that after the Bowhunter class. Now, the interesting thing about this one, Joel, is we're here at the finals. This score only determines who gets to pick what target, because we reset the score to 0. So it's anyone's game in this one.
Right.
It's going to be exciting. All right, we're going to take our first break on this one. Don't go anywhere on the other side. We're going to get things working with the Bowhunter division and see who is going to win $5,000 on the line. Stand by.
We don't build these bows to be different. We build them to be better. We're the outsiders, the mavericks, the fearless. We forge our own path. We're not chasing anyone, but we know what they're running from. It's an obsession, and the obsessed never rest.
Vince Lombardi once said, winning is not a sometime thing. It's an all-time thing. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. I've learned in my career I'm only as good as the tools I use.
12 for Levi Morgan.
One chance, one moment, one shot.
Get in the red zone. Carbon Express's small diameter Maxima Red SD, taking big game hunting to an all-new level, making other competitors' single spine arrows obsolete. Patented tri-spine technology controls arrow flight, delivering better downrange energy and accuracy, all in a small diameter shaft. Think you're shooting the best hunting arrow in the game? Think again. Stay in the red zone. Assume nothing and shoot Carbon Express.
No one likes dry-rotted targets. With its proprietary multi-layer construction and exclusive polyester outer shell, Reinhardt bag targets can withstand the continuous punishment of the sun's damaging UV rays. Reinhardt, simply built better.
Welcome back to Montauk Resort here at the 3rd annual Bowfest. 4 days of fun as we have the stage set for our money shoot, the final shoot-off to determine 1st through 5th in this one. And in the Bowhunter class, $5,000 for first, $2,000 for second, $1,000 for third. We had a very interesting situation, though, because Michael Kimmerling and Dane Bennis tied at the top for 210. So we're going to give it to P.J. Riley, who's going to settle the score and find out who is going to have the first target pick.
All right, thanks, Greg. Dane Bennis, Michael Kimmerling. We're going to have a coin toss here to see who gets to pick first. Standard quarter, heads, tails. Dane, you're going to go first because of alphabetics. And we're just going to flip it here. Call it. Whoop. Let's do that again. Call it in the air. Heads. And we have heads. All right, Dane. So where do you want, which target do you want to take?
Target number 1.
All right, go stand over there. Next up, Michael, you want to take target?
Number 3.
Take your position. Kurt, you are next.
Number 2.
Target number 2. And Lexi, you want position?
4.
All right, target number 4. Steven, that leaves you with your position.
All right, so there you go. Greg White here with Joel Maxfield. And Joel, very interesting, I think, that Dane Bennis decided to choose target number 1. That's a caribou 100 yards downrange.
100 yards for the first shot out of the gate is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I think one of the reasons that that Dane did that is also keep in mind he'll get to target number 5, which is going to be that gazelle, and he'll know what the other scores are, and he'll have the option to call the 14 or not. So a good move by Dane, and this is it though. If you want to have that advantage on the last target, you're taking the risk on the very first shot being 100-yard poke down range. All right, so here's the way the situation works. Target number 1 will shoot first, then 2, 3, 4, and 5, and each shooter will shoot individually. So the moment that the arrow impacts on target number 1, then the shooter on target number 2, which is going to be Kurt Henderson, is going to have to line up and take his shot. So once PJ gives everyone the okay, once they're all set and ready to go, giving them a moment to make sure they're sighted in, PJ's going to tell these shooters to get it moving.
Your time starts and on down the line. Your time starts now, Dane.
What about lighting? What do you think, Joel? Lighting conditions here. The wind, not a huge factor as it's been all weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of calmed down.
You can see the angle of which he's shooting. It is uphill and 100 yards. And he sends it. Oh, what a shot. So a good connection. Doesn't look like it hit that 12, but that might be in the 10 ring. All right, so next up here is going to be Kurt Henderson, who came in 3rd. Henderson, a bricklayer, previous ASA experience. So that looks like it's outside the 8 ring. So you have the dot is the 12, second ring is going to be the 10, and then you have that 3rd ring, which is going to be your 8, and then anything on the animal is going to be a 5. This is Michael Kimmerling, who was tied for first coming in. And it looks like it's going to be an 8 for Kimmerling. Here's Lexi Keller. The story with Lexi is she actually cut her hand and has some stitches in her holding arm. She launches it. Looks like a decent shot. And this will be Steven Schlender with a 198. Schlender, 44 years old, self-employed, working in the cattle trade. Bit of a moan from the crowd on that one. So now what'll happen is we're going to have our scorers that are going to go up the hill. They're already up the hill. It's so steep here and such a long pull. They're getting out there in a UTV, Joel. All right, so tell me, what did you think you saw from the first round of shooting here in the Bowhunter class?
It was an excellent shot on that caribou. That caribou was a very nice shot.
Mm-hmm. All right, so our scorers, you can see them coming into the picture now. They're going to take a look, and they have scorecards. They're going to hold those up once they determine the value. You're going to go grab those scorecards. So the first one, a 10 value. Good shot. Great shot at 100 yards. All right, so now we're going to move down to the standing elk. I'm going to try to keep score here, Joel, as we have a 10 for the first one. It's going to be a 5.
A little bit high.
Yeah, a little bit high for Henderson. So the next one on target number 3 is going to be Michael Kimmerling. From our vantage point, it looks pretty clear here. That's going to be an 8 value.
Yeah, it looks like an 8.
All right, so I think what they're going to do here is actually stop at target number 4, because target number 4, which is our Velociraptor, is further up the hill. But from the angle from the platform where they're shooting, which, by the way, the folks here at the Mont, they actually created an 8 is the score. That's going to be for Lexi Keller. They actually created a concrete platform for the shooters to come shoot, a nice concrete flat platform that was created specifically for archery. So now they're going to trek across the beautiful downhill slope here on this ski run. Now this is target 3. This is going to be Kimmerling. We saw that one. So we held up. That's an 8. And our final one's going to be Steven Schlender. As we move down, and again, Steven had the option, if he wanted to try to call the 14 on target number 5, he had the option to call that lynx hole, grabbing at that duck, at that mallard, but he chose to shoot the gazelle, and it looked like a really good shot. And that's the closest one we have on this range. One of the interesting things here, as the day goes on, you can see the shadows being cast. Is that a factor as we get into this 7:15, 7:30 hour?
Yeah, lighting is definitely a factor. I was practicing yesterday evening, and the lighting was pretty tricky in the evening.
Our scorer's taking a look, and that's going to be an 8, so just outside of it. Now, difference here, Joel, compared to some of the 3D shoots that a lot of people go to, is you actually have to cut the line here. It's not a pull the line, it's an actual cut the line.
Right.
Did you see that as being a bit of a score differentiator at times?
I never ran into it today. No, it was pretty well in or out.
All right, so archers will shift over one position. So on target number 1, we're going to have Steven Schlender. He's on the right part of your screen. There's PJ. On target number 2 is going to be Dane Bennis. He's left part of your screen. Score, upper left-hand corner of, you can see Bennis leads with a 10. So here's Steven Schlender on that 100-yard caribou. So the rules are you get 1 letdown. So 1 time you get to let it down and then draw again. So on this arrow, he's got to let it fly. All right, so we thought this is a very, very difficult target. So just getting the animal on that one for Steven. Here's our current leader. Bennis out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Very tricky, Joel. The breeze that blows here, because there's trees off to the distance, but then you have maybe 100 yards of hillside, so it can get pretty tricky.
Yeah, it's pretty open. Nice shot.
10, thrown from the crowd, another good solid shot for the 33-year-old Bennis. It's going to be Kurt Henderson, who came in here with the 205 qualifying round. Trying to steady the bow. That's an 8. Now, Joel, let's go over these rules real quick for the Bowhunter classes, those that tuned in. So, you shoot unlimited, I shoot unlimited. We have long stabilizers on the front, long stabilizers on the side, lenses, all that's gone. You can see the bows that we're looking at here. So that would have been target number 3, actually, which is, there it is. Oh no, that would have been target number 4, actually, that we were on. As now Lexi Keller is lined up to shoot the gazelle. That was a great shot from her. So I'm having a poke down range here at the target number 4. And that would have been Michael Kemmerling, who was shooting at the Velociraptor. And I'll tell you what, Joel, I'm going to give you these binos, but I don't actually see an arrow in that target.
I didn't hear an impact.
Yeah. So in the Bowhunter class, though, it's no lenses on your scope, only one 12-inch stabilizer on your bow, and the arrows actually have to have screw-in points.
Right.
How big of a difference is it shooting a bow in the Bowhunter class versus the open unlimited class?
Yeah, I actually brought my bow hunting bow that I hunt with, full of arrow, quiver full arrows, the whole deal, and that's what I shot today. And it is way different than shooting our competition equipment.
Lexi Keller with a 12. Crowd erupts for one of our top female pros, who, Lexi, made those moves. She had her bow. She decided, okay, this is the first time she shot without a lens and with a short stabilizer. And also, though, one of the things that we know about Lexi is that some of the open pro guys were having a look at her bow because she was saying that she actually only has a sight tape out to 80 yards. All right, so that's an 8 on target number 3. So that was for Henderson. We'll score an 8. And here's where we're going over to target number 4. And again, what our scorers are doing is moving back and forth on the targets that makes sense as they climb up the hill. So they're up and down. So they're going to be looking for this arrows. We didn't see an impact, and this is going to be Michael Kimmerling. Yep, and they're calling that a blank one, so that's a miss for Kimmerling.
Turn it around! Oh, it was a miss. Oh, it's a miss.
You guys can't talk right here, okay? You got to kind of back up. So that's a miss for Kimmerling. It's going to be a 0 on that one. All right, so now we're going to move up to target number 2. And this was our leader, Dane Bennis. He's already in here with the 10. And it looked to us that he doubled it, and he did. As they move up to target number 1, Joel, I'm just looking at the shadows that are cast on these targets and how difficult it is even for us to see it down here. But the shooters are in a bit of a different position. Now the sun is pretty much right off of their shoulder.
Yeah, lighting is definitely going to be a factor later in the day here.
All right, 5 for Steven Schlender. All right, so that should move net Lexi Keller. Lexi Keller is going to be on target number 1, and this is what we were talking about moments ago. She's shooting the caribou, and what happens is you can see the scope of her, her scope on her sight because of a variety of factors, right, Joel? I mean, we're talking draw length and, of course, the amount of poundage, whatever. The furthest she shot out is 80. So what do you do in this situation?
It's going to be a little bit of a guessing game. She's going to have to use Kentucky windage a little bit because she's only got marks to 80.
All right, so when PJ gives us the green light to go, once he feels everyone has had an opportune time to range it, get their sights set, he's going to tell them when to roll. PJ.
Okay, archers, Lexi, you're up. Whenever you're ready, your time starts.
There's a hush over the crowd right now. Everyone's holding their breath because we were all here to hear what's going on with Lexi. Can she aim far enough over the top of the target? She lets it fly. And oh, looks like unfortunately I don't see any impact on that one, at least not from our camera vantage. We don't see the entire target. Looking down at the feet, I don't see it, so it looks like it might be a miss for Lexi. Target number 2, this is Steven Schlender. You can see Schlender in with a 13 at the moment. Impact on that one, looks just low out of the 10 ring, so that's going to score an 8 for him.
Probably an 8.
Mm-hmm. Here's our current leader. Tied actually with Lexi after it, but we know she just had a miss on that one. He lets it go. Left side, good distance on that one, just drifted a little left. Kurt Henderson. You see the 46-year-old launches that one. Ooh, that could be an 8.5 liner.
It looks like it might have the line.
All right. And Michael Kimmerling, who's coming off of a miss on the last arrow. Kimmerling sends it. That one on the Giselle drifted way right. And I think he might be outside of that 8 ring, in with a 5. You can see the way that the shadows are being cast right now. Difficult to see that. So our crew is going to start on the Giselle. And again, Kimmerling had the option to go for that duck. But you can see the duck was just over his head. It's off to the left on your screen. As we wait the score, how difficult do you think? You got to stand up there and take a look at that duck. So a 5 for Kimmerling. How difficult would it be to take that shot?
Well, the you know, the target, the scoring rings aren't necessarily any smaller, but the target is what's intimidating. You know, it's difficult to aim at a smaller target, even though you're still aiming at the middle.
Target number 3, this is going to be Dane Bennis, and he's in with an 8. So 10-10-8 so far. That'll move him to 28. And keep in mind what's at stake here in this class. $5,000 for first, $2,000 for second, $1,000 for third. Fourth place gets $500 and then $250 for fifth place. They actually paid in this tournament back to 10th. It was $100 to enter this class, and they pay $100 6th through 10th. So quite a few people getting their money back and having an outstanding fun time here at this shoot. On to the Velociraptor, 79 yards down range, and that will score an 8 on target number 4 for Kurt Henderson. So far for Henderson, 5 and 2/8. Next up is going to be target number 2, Steven Schlender, and he'll get an 8 on that one. So also 8, 5, 8, and then on to Lexi, who had that daunting task of trying to send it 100 yards down range with not quite enough room on the sight for that one. And we're scoring that one a miss for her. So Lexi's still in at 18 points. Now this, unfortunately for Lexi, as she moves over to target number 2, which is still 90 yards down range, Joel, this isn't really helping her at all because it was 80 the max that she said.
Right. Very, very low margin of error there.
So Kimmerling is going to move to target number 1. Keller will be on target number 2. On target number 3 will be Schlender. On target number 4 will be Bennis. And then Kurt Henderson will be on target number 5.
All right, archers, everybody ready? Michael, the field is yours. When you start shooting, Lexi, you're up next.
Kimmerling, 31 years old. Out of Phelps, Wisconsin, sends it. You know, I think, Joel, is it fair to say that Kimmerling, who obviously shot outstanding to get in here, was tied for first at a 210. I think maybe after his miss he got a little rattled.
Right, yeah, it does kind of shake you out.
Here's Keller. And she got it. She got at least animal, which is not an easy thing to do on this one, especially with the way her sight is. So that's going to be a solid 5 points for her. Schlender downrange. Ooh, good shot. Good shot on that 50-yard Hogzilla. Looks like he's going to cut that 10 line. Our leader, Bennis. Good shot on Velociraptor. And the crowd can see exactly where that one landed. So Bennis, Dane Bennis, continuing to put pressure on the rest of this field. Kurt Henderson going for the Gazelle. Didn't hold up that 14. That one drifted right. Looks like it's going to be a 5 outside of that 8 ring. So now to the top of the hill we go for our first score. Michael Kimmerling having a long look up the hill at this caribou. Now, you know, the dot we talked about, that 12, that orange dot, measures 3 inches. The 10 ring is about 7 3/4. He scores an 8 for Kimmerling. By the way, if you're watching in Europe, that dot is 7.4 centimeters. Down to target number 2 and Lexi Keller. Last time we saw her at the 100-yard poke. Missed that one now on the standing elk. She'll get a good 5 on that one. What do you think, Joel? I mean, I think that's kind of a win for her at this distance at this point, being this was a last-minute decision to come here and shoot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, your margin of error when you're trying to guess is you can't be more than a few yards off.
And that's her first time looking at it at that distance. So it's not like she's got any references on the hillside. So now we're going to move to target number 4, Dane Bennis, our leader. And he shot this arrow, and when it landed, the crowd let out a big cheer, and for good reason. It's a 10. He did win the coin toss at the beginning. Maybe that was part of it. So this course, very interesting. I mean, what are some of the variety of targets that we had on the course before we got to this finals area that you thought was very interesting that we had during the qualification round with our 20 targets?
Well, it's the first time I ever shot a penguin.
Yeah, 10-foot high penguin.
Right.
That was fun. A penguin, there's a massive camel, a 10 on target number 3 for Steven Schlender. So he'll enjoy that one. That's his first 10 as we head to our final arrow of regular competition. On target number 5, Kurt Henderson choosing the Gazelle not to risk it on the 14, and that was a 5 for him. Let's take a look at the replay. What did you see in his release, our leader, Bennis?
It was very, very crisp. I mean, he's got good form. There's a reason they're going in the middle.
Yeah, it's always interesting to watch this Bowhunter class with not as much weight as the open class and no lens, how some of these archers can be so stable on the release. All right, so as we shift over to this final, this is the final in regulation. Dane Bennis is on target number 5. See what he chooses. He's got now a nice sizable lead over Schlender, moved his way into 3rd spot. That was a great shot from Kurt Henderson. And that was Kimmerling. And so a high left 1-8. Now Lexi Keller on target number 4. Sorry, target number 3. That's a 50-yard shot. A little high on that one for Keller. Looks like it might be close to the 10 ring.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to call from here.
Mm-hmm. Our second place shooter, Steven Schlender. He could use a 12 on this one. Velociraptor looks like a 10. Oh no, just drifted left. Here's your points leader. He's going for the $5,000 and Bowfest champion. What a shot. What a shot. A little to the right, but might catch that 10. As our scores are going to come out. So let's see. Let's take a look at how this one's going to pan out, Joel. Because with the 10, if Bennis actually scores this 10, that's going to be a 48 for him. Taking a quick look. So Tide coming in here after qualification on 210, and he does. He gets a 10. Wow. How about that for Dane Bennis? 33 years old, Grand Rapids, paper maker. 10-10-8, 10-10. Target number 3 as we move up to. This is Lexi Keller. We're having a close look at that one. That one looked like it was on the line.
Yeah, it was really close. Hard to tell from here.
You're watching our coverage of Bowfest 2019 here in Superior, Wisconsin at the Mont Resort in the Bowhunter class. And it's an 8 for Keller. Outstanding for her just to show up, take the lens out, take the stabilizers off. She has stitches in her hand, and she'll still come out with quite a nice score. 8-12, a miss, but a 5 and an 8. So good job for Keller.
I talked to her yesterday. She didn't know that if she was going to shoot or not.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
She just showed up, and she lives a few hours. I think it's 5 hours down the road.
Right.
So good for her for showing up and making this shoot off, and in the money. An 8 on the Velociraptor for Steven Schlender, who had a chance at this one. That's going to move him to 39. And an 8 on target number 2 for Kimmerling. And that 100-yard downrange shot. What a shot. A 10. So as we update our scores for you, you can see that after our 5 arrows, we have a clear winner in this one. And the winner is going to be Dane Bennis. Who will take the championship, and he'll head over and talk to PJ Riley on his win at the 2019 Bowfest. Take it away.
Congratulations. That was some stellar shooting out there. Tell me about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So you came right out of the gate with a 10 on the caribou. I mean, that had to boost your confidence. That's the longest one.
That was ridiculously long.
How'd you feel going through it? You said you've never shot anything like this, but how were your nerves?
Pretty nervous on that first target. As things progressed, it felt a lot slower. It was going okay.
When you came into this tournament, did you think you were going to make it to the finals? What were your expectations when you started shooting?
I'm typically a donator anytime there's a money shoot involved, so it is really cool to have some success.
All right, Dane. Well, congratulations. You're the Money Shoot Bowhunter Division winner.
Thank you very much.
Well, he showed up. He was like, Joel, what do you think? But you're $5,000 richer after coming out of this one.
Yeah, that's fantastic. He shot well on the course and phenomenal in the shoot-off.
Henderson is going to be our 3rd place finisher. Schlender in 2nd. And then it's going to come down to Lexi Keller will take 4th and Kimmerling in 5th spot. All right, we'll take a break. On the other side, when we come back, we're going to get things going for the open class. Some of the biggest names in the sport are coming up. Stay with us.
right now. Save up to $20 on the incredibly tough Reinhardt bag target, the only bag target that provides 5 layers of protection against the sun's harmful UV rays, protecting your bag from dry rot. See your local dealer or visit Reinhardt3D.com for full details.